Hello and welcome to the Super League Pom-Cast. I'm, of course, your host, Johnny Lou, and we're recording this because it is fins down. But the Dolphins have just been battered by the Manly Seagulls, led by Kieran Foran. And I just thought, well, I wanted an excuse to wear that on camera. Um, if anyone would like to see that, check it out on video. And joining me, of course, for the Super League Podcast is Andy from all the way in sunny Blackpool. How are we, Andy?
Right, Johnny. But all the better for seeing the fins up or fins down, whichever way you're looking at it. It's like
Fins
that.
down over the last couple of
I've
weeks.
been after one of them. I've been after one of them on your return. Brilliant.
Oh, listen, I've got two, and I'm going to add to that collection and grab two more. So you guys will have some when I come and visit in the summer. But how have you been, Andy? How has the sunny England been treating you?
Yeah, it's very good this week. We've had good news at work this week. It's been busy. We, as people might know, I own a golf driving range, and we have a few kick points of the season starting, really. One is light nights. One is the, which is better. One is the Easter weekend, which is bank holidays and things. And then next week it's the Masters.
Of course,
which really kicks us off. So this year's good for us because it's one after the other.
The Masters is late this year, isn't it? It's usually March.
So it's been it's a good little few weeks for us in kicking off the season.
That's cracking, but that's the wrong sport we're going to talk about today, Andy. Of course, we're talking about rugby league. It's our love, it's our passion more than anything. And we are going to be talking about on this episode the Dream Team 13 that got announced last week, and we're going to do our own Dream Team 13. We're going to go through the current crisis at St Helens in terms of the injuries. So if you are a Saints fan, tune in, and you may well get a little hint and teaser going into the Good Friday game of what the team may be when this gets released. And you are also, we're talking the England coach, because Willie Peters, starting on that, is taking over at the Papua New Guinea Chiefs. He was, by all accounts, the front runner for the England job going into the World Cup, but he said, no, I want all my focus to be on Papua New Guinea once this season's over. So the first choice is now gone. That leaves other candidates into the fold. So you've got Brian McDermott, who's been at the Newcastle Knights and now at the Titans. You've got Brad Arthur putting his hand up still for the role, but he's remained a little bit coy on it in an interview this week. And you've got a few others that are in the pipeline. And we all know it's probably going to end up being Sam Burgess and James Graham or something stupid like that.
Yeah. The first thing is on this is that we're back before the England coach stuff. We're all back about the planning of the NRL in Willie Peters going, because the PNG Chiefs don't come in for another, pretty much 2 seasons,
18
really.
months. Yeah.
So we've only just started this season. So they got this season, they got next season, but the planning as such, and you compare that to Super League, and it's like, oh, we'll rush everything through for 14 teams for next year, which I think has worked so far for them, probably by more luck than management. I think at this
100%.
stage. But what it means is that the careful planning of the league is different class. But what it also means now is that we're now looking at who's going to take over. The interesting name that you mentioned there was Brad Arthur, because I think he's in a Willie Peters situation. Because he's been so coy on it, he's obviously looking what the NRL has to offer. And if that's the case, he's not going to be anywhere near the England squad, is he?
Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely.
But
he has the experience.
Yeah, I think personally the way it's going towards is you're looking at an English coach. I think that's the way it's looking.
In the NRL, I reckon.
Yeah.
With it being in Australia, I think they might want to save some money on them flights, so they might just go, we've got two English coaches over in Australia, in Brian McDermott and Paul Wellens.
Yeah.
Why don't we see if them two will
Well,
take the reign or something
well,
like that?
Welland has been involved before in the England setup, hasn't he?
Yes, before Sean Wayne took over.
Yeah, he was one of the assistant coaches there. I think, along with Paul Anderson was involved in the setup for a long time as
He
well.
was the England Knights setup, wasn't it? I think he
Mm,
still is something to do with the youth setup
yeah,
or the
which
RFL in general.
I quite lament the demise of the England Knights. I thought
Yeah,
it was a really good concept, and when you look at now, when you look at the people that would be in that team, great. I think it's I think a great future when you look at you look at people like Lewis Martin.
yeah.
Those sort of quality of players. I think we've got. I think we've got a plethora of young players that could make a real impact later on the international stage. So I feel it's
Absolutely.
not just the England coach. I think it's the whole the England setup that needs a real overhaul.
But you mentioned obviously the Paul Anderson. Like
Mm.
he took over at Huddersfield, he won them the League Leaders Shield, and the next year didn't quite go to plan. But he ended up getting a sack from Huddersfield a couple of years later from that. But he I, I don't think he did much wrong at Huddersfield. If I'm reflecting back on it, that
I
that meant that he'd be blacklisted from jobs in general because he won a bit
no,
of
I
silverware for Huddersfield, which is why it's like crazy he's not got back into coaching anywhere.
don't quite know why he's not. I mean, when you think that like there's a vacancy in the NRL and Sam Burgess gets touted for every job that's going, I'm not quite sure why Paul Anderson has fell off the radar so much. I remember
It's not
this is
like he's done a
2000.
Cunningham or
Mm,
like anything like that. He went and had success at a club that hasn't had
exactly that.
success.
I remember it was 2013, and I think that was the year they won the League Leaders Shield.
Yeah, 2013. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I was volunteering. They were gearing up. I did some work for the Rugby League World Cup in that year, and as
Yes, you
part
did.
of that, yeah. Now as part of that, I did some work at the Magic Weekend, which was at
Before
was
the
it it was at
Wookend brand.
it was at yeah
Before the
it was at
Wookend brand. It was a
well it
proper
was at the
weekend.
it was at the
Yes.
Etihad. It was at the
Yeah, it
Etihad,
was.
and Saints got absolutely. There was a couple of things from that.
Battered.
Saints got
Was that
crushed off Warrington. Um,
was that when they were singing Harry Potter's Barmy Army?
I think
Or
so,
was that
but no,
earlier?
Uh, no. Who was the
It would have
coach?
been what's his name? Nathan
It was
Brown,
the
wasn't it?
Nathan
His
Brown.
first year.
Now, one of my jobs on that was to escort the teams before the match from the training ground because they had the athletic stadium to
Yeah,
warm up
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Then they walked across to the ground, and B to escort the coaches in the lift up to the coaches box,
I
which
thought
was
I
quite.
thought you meant the actual coaches, as in bringing
Well,
players in.
yeah, no,
Was that
it was quite.
in the high vis with the
It
beacons?
was like that.
Come in, back in here,
Oh
helping it
well,
reverse.
that there's another story on that which I will tell you off camera because I had a row with Kel Coslet about that after the game. But anyway, there was well this one. Oh, well, what I was going to say was that the preparation. I saw every team on that weekend. I saw all
Yeah,
12 teams over that weekend, and the team and the coaches with the best preparation by an absolute mile was Paul Anderson and Huddersfield Giants.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Organised,
Even to the
everything.
point with their fitness coach, they said, "How long's the walk from the athletics pitch that we're doing from there to the ground to the tunnel?"
Count the
And I said,
steps.
it's 2 minutes, and they said, "Right, well we do believe you because you've been doing it, but I'm going to go and test it out myself because that has an impact on what time we finish the warm up." And he came back and he went, "It's 1 minute." He went, "It's 1 minute 53."
You get 7 more seconds here, mate. Shut up.
Yeah, honestly, and it was that.
That's one
But that
more
was,
eye bomb.
but what I'm saying is that was the level of
Yeah,
detail that
yeah, that's
they
mad.
were in. Yeah, so they were so prepared with every single thing that they did on that weekend. And it all comes from the top, doesn't it? It all comes from the coach.
Yeah, of course. He sets the
You know?
standards.
Yeah. The other story about that, just while I'm on quickly, is that I was escorting Nathan Brown up into the lift. Now, Warrington were about 26-0 up or something at half time or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
The game was done.
Well,
And
this was
I
an injury year, wasn't it? We had a lot of
yeah, and
injuries that year as well.
I escorted Nathan Brown and Kieran Cunningham up in the lift from the coach's box. And as they got back in the coach's box, they spotted Ian Millward in the lounge. And Ian Millward
Was
just
he cast
said,
coach at the time?
it could have been. It could have been.
Yeah.
But he looked at Kieran and just shouted, Kez, and just thumped his heart and shook his head on that day. And Nathan Brown, well, it's funny, Nathan Brown, because he always used to turn up in like this leather jacket, didn't he? Like he just didn't look like he cared at
Not
all.
like he'd come off a movie set.
No, I remember at the World.
Swagger.
I know we're going off subject a little bit here, Johnny, but I remember at the World
Wouldn't
Cup.
expect anything less.
I know, but when I was working at the World Cup, I had to give a lift to the ground to Tony Puletua. Right.
Yeah.
And he's in the car, just me and him in the car. And I said, like, and anyway, I was like, we're talking about.
It was a Ford Ka. He took up 3/4 of the space.
Yeah, and Saints had a better end to the season at that time in 2013.
Yeah, we did.
And I said, like, what's changed? And he went, we decided to ignore the coach and just do it for ourselves.
But that's what the someone's. It might have been Wilkins said it on Sky Sports when they were on about 2014 and that season, and they were like, "Look, the squad we've got's class, on paper, and we're gonna just play for ourselves or something similar to that." It might have been Wilkins, and that was what Puletua said. They just knew they had the squad for it.
He said,
it's no wonder Nathan Brown never worked out in the NRL, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, so you wonder what was going on, but anyway, it was interesting. But on the England coach,
back to England coach,
I think it's heading towards.
Just spent 8 minutes talking absolute nonsense. Well, let's carry on. Let's get
they were good stories. They were good stories. So he said, and that's what people want—a bit of insight, a bit of scandal in it. He said, I think it's heading towards a English coach.
It's going to be a quick fix, though, isn't it? It's going to be a short-term contract, one World Cup, and then we'll revisit it.
So why has it not been sorted out before now? Because we're now 6 months from a World Cup.
Because there's no rush with the RFL. Why would they rush? They haven't got a pre-season game. They haven't got any of that. Someone can just literally take the reins and go with it and pick it on form 3 months to go.
Yeah, but I disagree with that because I think you've got to.
I disagree completely. I disagree, but that's what the RFL think.
Yeah, but you've got to start getting your squads together. You've got to start doing your individual programs. You've got to start looking at your videos of people. You've got to give yourself how does this situation give England the best possible chance to get, not just to win it, but to even get to a final? Because if we come up against Australia or the Kiwis in the semi, we had it, and you could add Tonga and Samoa into that equation.
And there's only one in our group that goes through.
So it's like, what chance are we giving ourselves here? And
they're not.
And I've said it all along to anybody that'll listen, for whoever has I've liked and loved rugby league. The whole game in our game should be all geared to the England team beating Australia. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The whole game should be geared to that, because if that's the aim, then your academies are better, your teams are better run, your league is better run, because that is the aim of each season, to win a Test match series, to win a World Cup, whatever it may be, to win a Four Nations, which is again gone by the wayside, hasn't it? But whatever international program there is, you should be aiming to come out on top of that, and the whole game should be geared towards that.
Absolutely. Completely agree. We've spoken about it multiple times on this podcast in particular, and on your own and only in rugby league. But it's, for me, it's just, who are they going to go with? we're talking about. We think it's going to be an English coach because I genuinely believe the theory will be who is A, the cheapest option, and B, um, who will bring the most press to it.
I
Which
think
is why I can't see anyone other than them giving it to Sam Burgess just to get Aussie media attention.
yes,
Whether
I
he
agree.
deserves it or not, and I completely disagree that he deserves. I completely disagree that he deserves it. I don't think he does. I don't think he's shown any sort of thing other than I was the former captain of England,
Yeah,
and that's it.
I I think in order of what may happen. I mean, Brian McDermott is a little bit left field because it was all about Willie Peters, and Brian McDermott wasn't even mentioned in the press
No,
until last week. Um, I agree with you.
but
I
he's a
think
cheap option. He
ultimately,
can stay in Australia. He knows the Super League. He'll, you know, he knows the players so somewhat. So it's like, and he knows what an England team, what English fans want from an England team.
I think they will bring someone like him or Wellens in as an assistant based in Australia. I don't think they're in for the main job. I think the main job will either come from A, Sam Burgess, or B, Paul Rowley.
Yeah, it's going to be a part-time role in it. Let's face
Yeah,
it.
it
It's going to
is.
be a current Super League
They've
head
already
coach.
they've already said that. They've already said it's going to be a part-time role. So I think it'll be one of
I'd
those
rather
two
have Daryl
assisted.
Powell than any of them. Selfishly, as a Saints fan, I don't want my head coach having one eye on the England team when we've got,
Hmm.
as we'll get into a bit later, this current crisis that we've got. I wouldn't want that personally as a Saints fan. That's from a selfish point of view. Um, which one gives us the best chance of winning? I'd say either Daryl Powell or Paul Rowley.
Yeah, yeah. I like the Daryl Powell shout. I like that. I think he's a good coach wherever he's been.
Apart
He
from
knows the
Warrington.
get. Yeah, but he knows the game inside out. He knows the game inside out. He knows the players. He knows what's. I think he knows what's needed. You don't last that long in a coaching career if you haven't got something about you. No matter which clubs you've been at, I don't think he's had a he's pretty much had a 20, 30 year career in coaching at Super League level, hasn't he? So
Yeah. My,
I think there
yeah.
is that.
My number one choice is and always will be Brad Arthur. Now Willie Peters is out.
I don't think he'll be in the personally. I don't think he'll be in the equation because if you look at the lead situation, he's saying now that he's got until June the 20th, I think it is, to
June
see
the
what he's going to do
30th.
for next year.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see him being at Leeds another year. We've mentioned this last week about this rolling
Yeah.
contract situation. I'm not sure that how that fits in with the England job either. If he doesn't know what
Mm-hmm.
he's going to do at a club level, I'm not quite sure how that fits in about how he takes the job on. Because
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
appoint him for the job, basically you're giving him a 6 month contract because you don't know where he's going to be next year.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But for that reason, I think he's going to be out of it because I think he's going to be looking at a head coach in the NRL, particularly when Manly have just sacked their coach this week.
Yeah. And
Um,
just absolutely trounced the Dolphins.
yeah, so I think and there's always movement. There's always what 2, 3, 4 jobs up in the NRL at the end of the season. Let's say.
There's always at least one.
Yeah, so I do think that he has. I wouldn't say reinvented himself a little bit, but he's put himself back in. He's put himself back on the radar of NRL jobs, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely. And it's really weird though, because you can have someone as celebritized as Sam Burgess go over here and not prove himself and still be talked about because of the celebrity aspect. And yet you got Brad Arthur, who's a seasoned coach who got a Parramatta side to a grand final a couple of years ago. And he's like cast and gone, you know, you've got to go and fight and prove yourself that you're still a good coach. Jason Demetriou, people like that.
Would they give Steve McNamara another role or another
Would
chance?
Jason Demetriou be someone that could potentially be? He's coached at international level with the
Yeah,
Cornwalls at Papua
yeah,
New Guinea. Someone like Justin
yeah,
Holbrook as well. I know he's got a lot in the Newcastle Knights, but even someone like Jason Demetriou could be a shout as someone that is England based. He knows the
yeah.
English game. He played all 90% of his career in the English game, and he's had that international experience.
Yeah,
And I literally just thought about him there and then and now by
yeah,
mentioning those that have been blacklisted. And I was like, actually, he is quite a good option to have.
yeah. It's a possibility. Yeah, it's not a bad shout. I just asked you then before you started speaking then about McNamara. Would he have a role? Or would they give him another chance?
That ship sailed, I think. I think that
Would
ship sailed.
Would Sam Tompkins be involved?
I don't think he's never. He's still coaching at Catalan, isn't he? He's still got a coaching role at Catalan. So,
That's an interesting one.
him and brother Joel,
Yeah.
the rectums of Wigan combining. True. So basically, who knows?
That's what I'm saying. What I do think though is the names that we've mentioned doesn't fill you with a great deal of optimism, does it?
No. But nothing does when you leave everything so late.
No. But then again, when you look at it that way, we did have Wayne Bennett for a spell who didn't even watch Super League. So
I know. And he got us within an ankle tap of a World Cup
yeah.
trophy.
So
Who's your pick? Give me an answer. Who do you want and who do you think will get it?
I think you're right about Brad Arthur. I would like to see someone like that, but I don't think he will. I think we're on a. I think it will be Burgess, and if it's not Burgess, I think it'll be. If it's not Burgess, I think it will be Rowley.
Okay. I'm now, yeah. I'm in the camp of I want either Brad Arthur or Demetriou, someone with that experience, either like Demetriou's had an international game or Brad Arthur's had, dead set in the coaching world and the club world,
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be Sam Burgess.
I do.
I think they're going to go for the celebrity factor. It's a World Cup in Australia. I think that's why they're going to do it. And in which case, Billy Smith, you're not representing England, pal.
You're not playing. Sorry, Billy, you're not playing, mate. That's it. I think if it's an English coach, they're going to go down. I do like the Powell route that you've just said, but for some reason, he doesn't seem fashionable enough, does he?
No.
I think perhaps he's looked at as a bit similar to Sean Wayne, if you like.
A bit of a small town man, though, as well. A bit of a small club man.
Or like a little bit of a rugby league dinosaur, which I think is really, really unfair. But I think that's the sort of image that he might
and
cast,
I think it's two failed stints at big clubs. So to say with Warrington and Leeds doesn't stand him in a good light in terms of an international team. I think they'll be like, well, it might be too big of a job. If he can't handle them, then he can't handle the nation, which I think is a little bit harsh, but I think that's just the way they'll look at it. So but anyway, that's the England job. We'll see when we come round to the World Cup later on who will be coaching us in that. But Super League, it celebrated its 30th anniversary over the weekend. We had a multitude of heritage kits with, as we're in the throwback one to the 96, Saints wore the away one. Last weekend, Saints are decimated with injuries at the moment, and we're going to go on to this, and we're going to save the dream team till the last. So if you're not a Saints fan and you want to skip, feel free. If you're not a Saints fan and you want to listen to a borderline meltdown, feel free to stay. So
always good. Yeah.
So the game at the weekend, Hull KR demolished, and it was the St Helens outfit from tackle one all the way through till the final passage of play. Hull KR. I want to know, Andy, when the last time a team knocked a ball on tackle one from kickoff went on to win the game. Because I reckon it's less than 10%.
You're probably right. I remember, and I can't remember what year, I'm guessing I don't know, 2003, I reckon, something along those lines. Saints went to Headingley and kicked out on the full from
Yeah,
the kickoff, and it got worse from there and lost 70-0. And it was a similar. I had a similar feeling when Delaney knocked on, that it was like, oh, okay, and it proved to be right because that performance. I know there's injuries. Don't get me wrong. I know there's injuries, but you can use injuries as excuses, and you can use injuries as not reasons but excuses. There's a difference.
just yeah.
I, and I feel as though some of the
You can use
tries,
it as an explanation, but not
yeah,
justification.
exactly. But some of the tries, for example,
Pathetic.
I think it was the second one that Mikey Lewis scored, where he twisted in and out from about 5 yards out. It doesn't matter who you've got on the pitch; he should not be scoring. Joe Burgess should not have a free run to the line
No,
because the
the
fullback
fullback.
decided to like appear in my living room or something. Do you know what I mean? It's like that's just
Let's
like
see.
they're
It's
they
basics.
they're inexcusable no matter who you've got on the pitch.
Absolutely.
So
You could have under 19s out there as long as they do that. Them two tries won't be scored. Yeah, they may score elsewhere because obviously it's an absolute mismatch with under 19s and that team. But no, it's just Son, I think got really found out. He doesn't look at all the player he was last year at the moment.
no, no.
Whether he looks injured at the moment. I don't know if he is or not, but he yeah. I don't
I
think
mean,
any player at the moment has improved under Rowley from last season.
no.
That was here last season.
Where's the defence gone? Where's
Disappeared,
the
mate.
defence? I mean, there was times there. There was times there in that whole KR match where all they did was spread it wide to the left, but there was no
They dropped
sliding
off.
defence.
They
Nobody slid
dropped
off.
off.
Nobody slid away. Nobody
But they
slid
dropped
across
off
to
every
cut it
time.
out.
There's no line
Yeah,
speed at all.
no,
There's absolutely none. And every time that ball got shifted, defence dropped and dropped and dropped. Not one player went to go and meet that attacking line.
no. And I
It's
know
basics,
people. I know
basics of the
people
Saints
can have
attack, of Saints defence.
people can have poor games. I think that's the worst game I've seen Owen Dagnall having in a first team shirt,
Yeah,
for
he's not had
example.
many.
But he's not done. He's done great when
And
he's
he's
come in,
young.
right?
And he's
And he's
very
young.
young.
I agree with you about Robertson. I think what he struggles with at the minute is that I'm not quite sure where they see him playing. I don't know.
And
Is it long term? Is he a centre? Is he a six? Is he a one? I don't think they've got that. What's the plan?
and if you looked as well later on in the game, they actually put him at fullback and moved
Mm.
Sailor to six.
Yeah.
Now, if we know all about Sailor's defensive frailties that's been spoken about, but like if the coaches believes you're having that bad of a game that he's having to take you out of that firing line because he's young as well. Don't forget, and this isn't us slagging him off. He's a brilliant player.
Absolutely.
He's a fantastic player. Just at the minute, and I wonder if Paul Rowley's statement of for some of the younger players, it's one game too far. He's
Mm.
relaying to Dagnall and Robertson and Delaney.
Robert Robertson is to me is like a young Sam Tompkins because what I mean by that is ball in hand. He's very elusive,
Hmm.
as Tompkins was when he was younger. And it was like this season he seems to have lost that elusiveness that he had last year. Now there's a mixture of things for that. There's confidence. There's defenders studying you so that they know what's going to happen. You're not getting caught out as much as they were when you were a fresh face, youngster coming in your first few games when you take people by surprise. And you've got to up your game to make sure that you stay at that level. Um,
Yeah.
I think then, but also, I mean, that's just picking on two young players, and they will improve and they will get better. And I don't see there's no issues with them whatsoever. Where I think that we've got real problems at Saints is that to me, there's a lot of players that are championship level.
There is, I can name at least 3 that are starting week in, week out.
Well, I'll give you one. Shane Wright,
Matt Whitley,
Dion Cross.
Joe Shorrocks.
List goes on, doesn't it? Now, Championship might be a bit harsh. What I'm saying is that
It's not St Helens standard the way they're playing.
that's more the issue. Shane Wright, I think, got a 2-year deal on the back of one trial after the hooter at Leeds.
I do not know why the club gave Matt Whitley a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
That should have been 12-month extension.
Yeah. And I know he's played pretty much, because of injuries and etc. and all this sort of stuff, he's played pretty much every game. I never understood why we signed Dion Cross in the first place.
Me, he doesn't even make, when fully fit, our back line, he doesn't make our starting 5. I wouldn't even have him as backup at the moment.
That's particularly if you're earmarking Robertson as a centre.
That's what I mean, if Robertson is a centre. But it's just weird because I think Championship is way too harsh. I think they're just not the St Helens standard. I think they're a backup player at best.
Yeah. With too many backup players then.
Yes.
Too many backup players. Where's the magic dust? Where's the I mean, Jackson Hastings has been a great player in his career, but I don't think he's shown that yet.
He hasn't got a pack to work off this season so far. Our pack's been decimated without Lees and Walmsley, mate. There is no line speed without Lees and Knowles. Knowles has gone. Lees is injured. Without Lees, there's absolutely zero line speed. You could see that at the weekend. You could see that in every game, actually, in comparison to where we was last year. Without Walmsley, we've got no go forward, bar when Noah Stevens comes on, who, again, is getting 10, 15 minutes sometimes. At least he's getting bigger minutes with this injury crisis.
Well, he was the player last week that provided the only sort of highlight when he put Mikey Lewis on his backside and set up the try for Dagnall.
Exactly. And
he's the
only prop that's got punch.
Delaney needs to improve.
He's stalled.
Yeah. Stalled. I look at the back row. The back row, what we had, we've gone from, for example, we've gone from Sivan and Knowles, and all of a sudden we've got a back row of
Shorrocks,
Whitley. Yeah. That's not a title-winning back row, is it?
It's the biggest downgrade that we've had in war since, I don't know, going from Roby to Howarth.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. For Saints and for Super League, Morgan Knowles it's a really hard ask to replace him. But at least have a go.
But I'm not messing. But we said it last year with the delaying of the recruitment process. You kind of go with the only thing that's left. However, when Paul Rowley came into power, even though they were the only ones left, I also think he really believes in them players. However, they overachieved at Salford, but they're not a St Helens standard.
Saints aren't Salford.
And this is where the expectations have to adapt.
So, do you think there's a case, like, I don't know how to put this, I suppose. It's like, do you think there's a case where this season is a write-off where Paul Rowley finds his feet and understands what this club needs? Or do you think it's more of a long-term problem that we're now suffering for the next 2 or 3 years in terms of recruitment and retention? Or can it be put right at the end of 26?
The recruitment and retention absolutely can't, because we've tied players in, thanks to the previous man at the helm, to too longer deals than what they necessarily deserved.
Absolutely.
Next season we've still got.
We haven't mentioned Party. Yeah.
We've still got a chunk of the cap still left. it's still taken up by these longer deals. And usually, like, for me, Jake Wingfield deserved his 3-year deal if he gets the right appearances, because I really think there is a player in there, and I think he provides his uses. But some of the other contracts, it's mind-boggling to me. And these players, the good players, but they are the players we mentioned in particular are a squad player. They're a backup. They're not a starting St Helens player. David Clemmer, for me, right, that interview that came out in the St Helens Star, I am sorry, but if whether it's I get the reasons why he said, like, the coach said to me, I don't want you going out there, take the rest of the game off, have next we've got next week, right? I am not messing. If you are a leader, if you are a leader of a team, if you're a former Australian international, you tell that coach, no, boss, I'm going out there and I'm leading from the front. I don't care that we're 32-0 down. That is when a player is a leader. I've said this last year when we signed him. I remember me saying to you, when the going gets tough, he won't be there. And I really believe that. I really hope David Clemmer really proves me wrong, because I've watched him at the Dragons live. And when the going gets tough, he doesn't lead from the front. And when you're buying a 32-year-old prop, they need to be leading. A former Australian international, they need to lead from the front.
You can't imagine that reaction in that interview coming from James Graham, for example, can you?
Oh, no, you couldn't imagine that coming from even like, you know what? I genuinely believe Josh Perry wouldn't even have that attitude. He didn't have the ability that Clemmer can have, because Clemmer has ability for Super League, but Josh Perry, no matter how bad he was, he always put his hand up.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I know what I completely get what you're saying about contracts and extensions and all this. If there was a free run at the end of the season, which I know there isn't, it's all hypothetical. Everyone's off contract at the end of the season, right? Who are you keeping? Who are you building this team around? Who are you keeping? Sailor?
No, because he's a mismatch.
There you go. Sailor has to be one of the worst signings that we've made, and a lot of it isn't even his own fault.
It's absolutely not his fault. I really
Because
rate Sailor as a player. I think he could potentially be a Man of Steel candidate for his attacking flair, but he doesn't fit when everyone's fit.
he can't play anywhere but one. And if we've got Wellsby tied down at the time we signed Sailor, why did we need to sign Sailor? Because he can't play six. He's hopeless at six.
And he used to play at junior rugby, so did Lance
And in
Alliance.
fact, that's another point. That's another point at the minute, that at the minute everybody is hopeless at six because Hastings does everything. You can't find a six to complement Jackson Hastings at the minute, I feel, as well.
Which is why, like, he had probably his best season was when he was with what's his name? He was back at the Panthers. Oh, he was at Huddersfield and he was shit.
Oh, not Lola. Oh,
No, the scrum half. Oh, that's going to do me
yes.
head in. He got simmed in twice against Saints in the same game.
He was terrible. Matt Frawley? No.
No, it was the 7 for. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Panthers 7. Anyway, the one that came on for Luai in the final and won it against Brisbane. Where he was just someone that would just steady in the just steadied the ship and just did his game and let Hastings do what he wanted and run the show. And he was just a steady kicker.
All right. So back to my other question. Felt? No. Doesn't want to know. Don't like running. What else have we got? Robertson is a yes, isn't he?
Yeah.
Dagnall would be a yes. Yeah. Cross.
Percival is a yes.
Percival is a yes. Cross
as a backup, yes.
Wellsby would be a yes, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Who else is in? Who else
Hastings,
is in there then?
Yes.
Hastings would be a yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And then after that, he's starting to struggle a little bit, particularly in the forwards, I feel. Murphy.
Murphy, yeah.
Mm.
I don't. Yeah, I think
I would
he's.
say
I think
yes.
he's bulked up this year. He's bulked up
He,
this year. I think he's got a lot more strength
he's shown glimpses this year of what he can actually do this year.
if he
I think.
stays fit. Yeah, yeah.
I agree. Yeah. Walmsley.
Coming to the end of his career, you can't build a team for the future with Walmsley. It's very much a 12-month
No.
thing
Clark.
now. Again, similar to the Walmsley statement, it's more of a 1 year, 2 year deals max.
The way that the game is going with the faster rucks and things like that, I think you're looking at a different type of player going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Lees.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stevens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Delaney. You've got to give him time.
He's at the point, though, where he's got to start showing that potential. He's
Sivinen.
23,
Yeah.
24 now, Delaney.
Yeah, he's not 19 anymore. Yeah. Sivinen seems to be missing a lot of games nowadays. I think he's done well, but I think he's dropped off over the last 12 months. So I think I'd be saying thanks, but thank you.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a tough one. That's a real pondering for Sivinen.
I'd be saying no, because I think he's not going to reach the heights that he did at the beginning of his contract, and I think he's
Yeah,
missing games. So I would be saying no.
Shorrock's I'd let his contract expire.
So
I wouldn't
yeah,
renew.
Whitley the same.
Same.
So you're not that many to go at that you feel of St Helens standard.
It's mad because Matt Whitley, man, at Catalan was class.
Yeah, which is what we signed him on that basis.
I really wanted him. And the first, I'd say, 5-6 games that he played for Saints, class. And then he got that shoulder injury, and I don't think he's been the same since.
So maybe he's still carrying that a bit as well. Maybe that's something behind the scenes that we don't know, you know?
Because he got the same shoulder injury that Batch had because they were doing rehab together.
I'm guessing that Clemmer would be a no.
Yeah, I wouldn't have even signed him this year.
No.
I said it at the time. I went, it's for a marquee player, you've got to set them expectations. And for me, against smaller clubs, class.
Yeah, I know you like Wingfield, for example.
Yeah, I keep him.
So that would be a yes. And after that, you're struggling because then you've got people like Party that would be a no, and that's the obvious ones after that, I think. So it's a really difficult situation. But half the players that we've mentioned there are still tied down for at least the next year, if not 2 years.
And at the end of the day, it's not just us that are thinking this sort of stuff. Paul Sculthorpe has wrote in his columns for the past 12 months that he thinks there are at least 5 or 6 players that he believes are championship quality. And that's coming from Paul Sculthorpe. And then he goes, well, at least not St Helens quality. And this is the thing where the players that we mentioned are at a point where they obviously have the ability, some of them, the likes of Whitley, like we said, at Catalan, who was class, they've got the ability to potentially be a St Helens player. But there are certain players that are backups at best that we mentioned. I do think Whitley could be a St Helens player, but he's not showing it.
Yeah.
Delaney, same thing. Delaney, his potential has stalled so much.
Yeah, it's.
And I don't think it helps because whenever we play him with the wrong sort of prop to complement him. He's not going to break tackles. He's not going to break tackles. He's like a Matty Lees. He'll just do the hard yards and he'll tackle.
Yeah, it's Stevens for Walmsley and Delaney for Lees, isn't it? On the bench, pretty much. Yeah.
But you need to mix them up. So you need to have Lees and you have to have Lees and Noah, and then you'd have to have Walmsley and Delaney. I think you need that mix of experience whenever they're there. So that's St Helens at the minute. But the injury crisis isn't helping, and it's only got worse with that squad that's announced for the Good Friday game that by the time this podcast is out will be later on this afternoon or whenever you're listening to it. It might be beforehand. And yeah, pretty much the team that's been set out, there's going to be at least one debut by the looks of it.
Saints might win the derby and make us look really stupid for the last 15 minutes.
Exactly. And then, so this is all in pre-recorded. But
And then
also,
next
like,
week we'll be saying, what a team! Didn't they play well? Look at it. Joe
yeah, give
Shorrock was
them.
man of the match. Yeah,
But that's it. But do you remember, was it 2023 when Wigan named Shorrocks at 6, or was it 2022? The
yeah,
Saints were at the height, and no
yeah,
one even gave Wigan a chance when they'd seen Joe Shorrocks at 6, and Joe Shorrocks
yeah.
got man of the match, and they won.
Exactly. Yeah. Well,
And you never know, he
yeah.
might be playing in the halves this weekend.
You never know. Never know.
And
Right.
history may repeat itself. But we did mention about the dream team. We've got our
Yeah.
final 10 or 12 minutes or so. So we will go and run through that. The Super League dream team got announced of all time best 13. This was as voted for by Sky Sports viewers. Very, very important to mention that when we go
Yeah.
through this list of players. Sam Tompkins at fullback, Ryan Hall, Keith Senior at centre, Jamie Lyon, the other centre, and Jason Robinson at number 5. Danny Maguire and Rob Burrows, 6s and 7s. Adrian Morley, James Roby, and Jamie Peacock are your front rows. And Hooker. And then you got Gareth Ellis, Liam Farrell, Kevin Sinfield are your 11, 12, and 13. So I have counted Hall Senior, Maguire, Burrow, Morley, Peacock, Ellis, and Sinfield, 8 former Leeds players.
Yeah. 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 Doesn't seem.
Biggest fan base as well.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, as picked for by Jamie Jones Buchanan as well.
Yeah. Well,
Do you reckon there was a Leeds influence on that boat?
possibly. Possibly. Yeah, possibly.
Surprised they didn't shoe in Carl Ablett.
Oh dear. Yeah.
So, right, we can dissect that all day long. For a start, they put a Union player in there, which is absolutely disgraceful. He never played rugby league, Jason Robinson. Well, you wouldn't think
Yeah.
it.
He
You
wouldn't
wouldn't
have been in
think
mine
it if you
anyway. But
Googled
yeah.
him or whatever. If you didn't think him, he only played Union.
Yeah. He wouldn't. He
By the way,
wouldn't have
that's
been
a
in mine
joke,
anyway.
guys. Of course, I know he played for Wigan. But yeah, he's a traitor. He's an arsehole. At least Josh Charnley came back in it, So we've done our own Dream Team 13,
Okay.
me and Andy, which you are all excited to obviously hear and listen to. I've got a couple of different picks to what is on there. For
Yeah.
example, there's no Kevin Sinfield. That's no disrespect to Sinfield, great player, just not the best 13 in Super League. So we're going to go from 1 all the way down to 13, just like we've just been through. At number 1, I've gone Sam Tompkins as well. What about yourself, Andy?
Yeah, I've gone Tompkins as well. Yeah. I mean, some honourable
2 Man of
mentions there,
Steels.
isn't there? Oh, yeah, honourable mentions: Welland, Radlinski.
Ian
I think
Hardman.
I think I think if Barber had stayed longer, I think he'd have been in the equation.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, I think Tom. I've no issue with Tompkins whatsoever.
absolutely none. And what about your first right winger, Andy?
I found the wingers quite difficult without sort of trying to switch them over.
What do
If
you
that
mean?
makes sense. Well, like 2 number 5s, for example, and putting one on the other wing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like if you've got Charnley and you've got Hall and whoever else,
Yeah, well, that's why I've gone with the Ryan Hall converted because of a later. Yeah, he's right winger nowadays, isn't he? I don't mean
yeah.
politically. He might be. I
So
don't know.
yeah, that's more Bobby Goulding. Yeah. So there's like
That's a car crash.
no, that was Scott Moore. Oh, that was Zach
They was
Cardaker.
both of them.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
All three.
So I
It
think
was Kevin Locke.
Kevin Locke. What a guy, Kevin Locke. Yeah. Do you know what? I find it. I've got 3 wingers for 2 positions, right? Really difficult.
Who are the 3? Go on. Who are the 3? And I want you to
Ryan
pick
Hall,
2 of them.
obviously, because you can't
Yeah.
ignore the try scoring record. And for that reason, it's like, can you ignore Charnley? But he's not even in my 3. So
Yeah, he's
you've
not
got
even in my
Ryan.
3.
No, I've got Ryan Hall,
Vanacola.
Vinacolo, who again, I don't say you can miss out. And I've got Pat Richards.
I've got Pat Richards.
So
They were my 3. They were literally my 3 players. I went with Hall and Richards.
that's that.
But I love Vanacola.
So I'm going to go Hall and Vinacolo. I think Vinacolo changed the way that wingers were perceived.
Yeah, Pat Richards literally won a Man of Steel at wing. That's
I
why I
know.
thought
That's
it's very
incredible, isn't
rare
it?
you can do that.
Yeah. Great goal
And
kicker.
he scored the best drop goal I've ever seen in my life.
Unbelievable. Yes, you're right.
Still lost that game though, didn't he? So
Is that
even
why
better.
you can mention it?
Yeah.
But yeah, but Vinacolo was a forerunner to the modern day winger. Yeah, but he was a forerunner to the modern day winger in this. Let's give him the ball 20 yards out, 10 yards out, and watch him trample over everybody and score a spectacular try in the corner. Wingers before that were more in like the like sort of like Anthony Sullivan type of mode, where
fast.
they were skinnier,
Agile.
they were quicker, they were in and out wingers.
Used to get
the Martin
smashed
Fire
around the
type of
place.
winger, yeah, and they were there, weren't they, to get the ball in an overlap and be faster than the defence.
Yeah.
Vinacolo, I think, changed the way that wingers were, and also
I like
again
that
you talked about bringing that out from the back and things like that. So I think Vinacolo there is in. So I think I'm going to go Vinacolo and Hall.
Cool. Well, I've gone Hall and Richards. I should have really gone Vinacolo and Richards, but I couldn't not leave out the highest scoring try
It's the
scorer.
problem. In terms of like what they've done over a shorter period of time, I think that Vinacolo and Richards were better wingers.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, anyway.
Centres, I'm assuming we both
Sorry,
got
just
Jamie
on the wingers
Lyon.
one. I've got one more honourable shout, if that's okay.
Go on.
Tavita Vicona.
Okay, little bit before my time.
Okay. He was around the same time, pretty much same time as Vinacolo, but again, a very, very similar player.
Yeah.
Excellent. Anyway, go on. Centres.
Sweet. So I'm assuming we've both got Jamie Lyon in our right centre position.
Jamie Lyon is the only person that I've seen in everybody's team that's ever put one out where he's in.
Let's see.
Everybody's team that you can see anybody. Oh yeah, Jamie Lyon. That's how good he was.
Mate, he was sensational. I used to have him on every kit. I had that 3 Lions kit.
Jamie Lyon is the best player that Super League has seen. It's as simple as that.
He has to be, because no one can disagree that he is in every dream team.
Yeah.
There's no
phenomenal.
arguing. There's no arguing with anyone. He's in everyone.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Even people who weren't alive.
Player. Yeah,
when he played,
phenomenal rugby league player. Unbelievable. Anyway, so Lyon, who's your centre then?
I've gone with Vinacolo's teammate and All Blacks / Kiwis star Shantae Harpe. He's the only Union convert I've got in my team. Mainly because he did come back to rugby league as well at the very tail end of his career. So, and also he was just, I remember when I was a kid watching Bradford play with Vinacolo and Harpe, and just some of the tries he scored, and he was in a class of his own as a centre during that day, during the heyday of rugby league.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
I've gone same as you.
Shantae.
I've gone Shantae Happy. I think he was excellent. I was stuck with Senior and Happy, and also, yeah, I also had a half an inkling to who was not far off these. I don't think was George Carmont.
Yeah, solid shout. Solid shout. At least you didn't go Anthony Gelling. You know.
But I thought he was, yeah. I thought he was brilliant.
And there's
Carmon.
obviously Matt Gidley as well, and players
And
like
Gidley,
that,
yeah.
and oh, what was his name? That's going to come back to me later on. I can tell. There was a player who I was thinking of. Oh, it's going to come back to me. Played centre. But yeah, Sean, you just can't argue with him, can you? He was
No.
phenomenal. Some
Yeah.
athlete as well. Your 6 and 7, we're going to start off with 6. I have 4 names wrote down, and I seriously cannot pick which ones. I had Trent
Okay.
Barrett
He's one of my
down.
names.
I had Johnny Lomax down. The fact he's never won a Man of Steel, I think is
Yeah.
genuinely a disgrace.
Okay. I didn't have Lomax in my 4, but yeah.
I had Price
Okay.
and I had Maguire.
Okay. I've got a completely different 4 to that, and I've picked somebody that you haven't even mentioned.
God, it's Mickey Lewis,
So,
isn't it?
so
who are your 4?
So Maguire was one of my 4. Trent Barrett was another one of my 4.
Yeah.
Yestin Harris
Oh, Yestin Harris, of course.
was one of mine.
Yeah, he was class.
And I've given the nod to Lee Briers.
Have you?
I think
Great player.
I think he dragged Warrington around the field for over a
Challenge
decade.
Cup successes.
Yeah. I think he was.
I can't fault him.
No, I think he was a fantastic player. So I'd give the nod to Lee Briers.
Yeah, can't fault it. And I think I'm gonna.
And second,
I'm gonna go with Barrett.
would have been. Well, second under that would have been Barrett, and third would have been Yestin Harris.
Yeah,
and then fourth would have been
I've
Maguire.
completely forgot about Harrison. Briers, I thought about, but I was
It's all personal opinions and personal favourites as well, I suppose, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, from them, like Trent Barrett should have won Man of Steel when Roby did. He was phenomenal that season.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's right.
And that was how good Roby was as well at the same time.
Yeah.
7, I've only got one name.
I got one name.
Sean Long.
Yeah, absolutely.
Greatest 7 of the Super League era.
I agree.
A shadow of a doubt. And Saints was stupid to let him go for his last 2 years.
Yes. And do you know who I've got in second place on for number 7? Have you got any other honourable mentions?
I don't even have an honourable mention. I think he is that much of a class above.
I agree, but I've got an honourable mention.
Hang on. Can I have a clue?
So if Sean Long didn't exist, this guy would have been my number 7.
Can you have a clue?
Played for quite a few clubs in Super League, mainly in Yorkshire.
Grangy Chase. Hello, honourable mention. He did win a Man of Steel.
And probably the best kicking game that I've ever seen in Super
Danny
League.
Brough.
Yeah.
I was actually chatting to my mate who's a Wakefield fan at the gym, and over in Australia, he is from Wakefield, and we were mentioning Danny Brough, and he said he just had the ball on a string.
Yeah, absolutely. Kicking game was phenomenal.
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant. Again, you look at Brough and you think, why didn't he have more international caps? I think you're probably there blessed with at a time when we were overloaded with good 7s, if you like, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But he always had this reputation of being a little bit of a maverick that didn't fit into perhaps what a coach wanted in a structure at international level, maybe. But I thought he was tremendous. He would be my second choice. I don't think that I wouldn't have picked Rob Burrow. I can understand the sentiment, and I think that's what it is.
I actually think Rob Burrow played the best rugby of his career at 9.
Yeah, I agree, and I don't think I don't think that Burrow is near this team. Great player, but not in this team.
If it was an influential 13, he's 100% in.
Yeah.
But
even if it's a 17 and he's off the bench.
Yeah.
You could argue
even then, I wouldn't have him at a 9 off the bench in place of say Roby or Cunningham.
Absolutely. So I don't think he makes it. Yeah.
So the 2 prop spots we've got here. I'm obviously going to stick to like sort of my era of rugby league because I don't want to go and talk about things that I've never witnessed. So my four props, which obviously I'm going to whittle down to two, is Peacock, Morley, Graham, and as my fourth pick, which not many people will probably say, but I think he was a great servant to Super League. I think he was a great servant to this club. He was a one-man team, I believe. He was a one-man clubman and England international. Unfortunately, missed out on a few Great Britain caps due to being a little bit too young. I'll actually put Earl Crabtree as one of my four.
Yeah, I did see having an argument with somebody on Twitter that didn't rate him the other week. But yeah, I thought he was. That's a good shout because I think he was brilliant.
He was
Yeah,
one of my
absolutely.
four,
Yeah.
and I think after that exchange, he is so underrated. If that's what
I
people
agree.
think, he was
Absolutely agree.
phenomenal. He was so
Yeah,
close to joining Saints at one point. He was close to
yeah,
joining. He had offers from the NRL.
yeah.
He was a giant of a man, and he was a great player and a great guy. Apparently,
Yeah, totally agree. I've gone with Graham and Morley for my
they were
two.
my two. They were my two I picked, but they were my four.
Yeah.
They were my two honourable mentions: Peacock and Crabtree. Because I think,
Another honourable mention, I think, would be Paul Anderson.
yeah, Baloo, great
Yeah,
serviceman for everyone. And
yeah.
it'll didn't he play for both Leeds and Bradford?
Don't think he played for Leeds. I think he played for Bradford. I'm not sure. I don't
Bradford.
remember him playing for Leeds if he did. But anyway, he was an honourable mention for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Second rowers.
Wait, we missed Hooker.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Go on
mean,
then.
surely there's only three names whittled down to two, and I reckon I've gone with one and you've gone with the other.
Okay.
So the three names, Roby, Cunningham, and Jimmy from the Bradford era.
Yeah,
And I've gone with Roby, and I'm assuming you've gone Cunningham.
I have. Yeah. Yeah, I have.
The two greatest hookers of
It,
their time.
it's a 50-50 split, isn't it? It's a toss of a coin. And it
Well,
probably depends on which era you were brought up with, probably. I think.
two
So,
changes of games.
yeah. The only other honourable mention I've got, who was not in that class, but as worth a mention, was Danny Buderis.
Medeiros, of course, yeah, class.
Not in that. I don't think he's in the equation for to make the slot, but certainly worth a mention. But yeah,
Yeah,
I've gone with Cunningham, the last of what I would call the old style hookers.
yeah. You
He
don't
was,
get you don't get any of them now. The game's changed
no,
completely. It's a Danny
and
Walker. It's a James Roby, a Danny Walker, a Rob
yeah,
Burrow. It's
that's
that
it.
sort of style. Darryl
That's
Clark.
it. I mean, just with Cunningham, every tail ending, scoring the last try at Knowsley Road, scoring, in the to win the game in the last league game with the last play of the game, and it's
Yeah,
fairy tale stuff. It's incredible. Statue outside the ground. Forget the coaching aspect. It's two different jobs. Don't let what he failed as a coach mask anything that he succeeded as a player.
exactly. So
So
second rows, we've got two of them to pick. We did have a rule that no union converts, as mentioned previously. So, sod you, Wigan fans. Andy Farrell is not anywhere near us. He is one of them now. he's
so I
he's even
can't have
gone
him
all
now. So
posh.
I can't
He's
have
gone
him now.
even
Then
posh. No, you can put him down if you want. He was a great player. Just he's gone all posh.
he's got the poshest Wigan accent you've ever seen now.
Mate, it's
It's
horrific, and
unbelievable. It's
it's
unbelievable how he
horrific.
tries to talk now to fit in with the rugby union press and
I hate it.
establishment.
I
It's
hate it. He's
incredible,
betrayed his roots.
hasn't he?
He's scum.
Absolutely incredible
What happened?
accent.
What happens
He'll
is
have the odd
window
word.
cleaner from
He'll have the
Wigan.
odd word like, we were, and he's like, honestly, now he pronounces his T's and everything. It's incredible.
Man, what happened? What happened to that window cleaner, that 16-year-old window cleaner that was doing interviews that just said his missus pregnant? It's like, where's that lad gone?
Unbelievable.
Where's
Honestly.
your babby's head and your Wigan kebabs?
Exactly that. Unbelievable.
Traitor.
Well, I
Now
have put
go
him
back
in.
to Dublin.
I have put him in the second row.
Okay,
I felt
you
I couldn't
squeezed
leave
him
him
in.
out. I couldn't leave him out, but I couldn't put him in at loose. So I put him in. I've squeezed him in, and he did
Your
play
second
spells in the back row and things like that. So yeah.
and your second row is obviously Dom Peyroux.
Well, he's an honourable mention.
Way down the
Um,
list of that honourable
what
mentions.
what I've done, I've put Peacock in the second row because he played half his career there before he moved to prop.
Oh well, so I can put Earl Crabtree there then.
No, you can't. No, it's like that. But Peacock played a lot of his career at
Yeah,
second
yeah,
row,
yeah.
at
Yeah, he did.
Bradford and things. So I have put him in there to.
Squeeze him
I
in.
know both the second rows I've put in, but I've felt this justification for them both, and they weren't. It's not like I've put them in at centre to squeeze them in. Um,
Yeah,
a couple of honourable mentions. Ellis obviously is an honourable mention, but he
obviously.
lost out to Peacock for me. A couple of honourable
Liam
mentions.
Farrell,
There's a few there. Liam Farrell, Chris Joynt was another honourable mention,
Chris Joynt. Yeah, I had him
and
there.
also the other one that no one's really mentioned in their teams, but I thought again similar to Breers, dragged them around was Ben Westwood,
Yeah,
but nobody
yeah.
mentions
Good
him.
servant, good serviceman.
England as
Always
well,
did the hard yards.
yeah,
Finally got
England
his
as
England
well,
recognition towards the end of his
yeah.
career. Yeah,
So I thought that he does, and the other one, you know, is JJB in that list as well, or is he next tier?
think he's next here.
Okay,
Personally,
yeah.
great
Certainly, I
player,
think
great
Joint.
player. But I think there's a little
Mm,
bit of a drop off between like your Joints, your Ellis, your Farrells,
yeah.
and one of the players I put in that I really think was a great servant Super League. He played for many, many, many clubs, and that is Lee Gilmore.
Mm, yeah, good shout.
He was a big part of that 2007 winning
Yeah,
Tri Nations setup.
yeah, good shout. I've got one more in the second row, if that's okay, just for an honourable
Yeah, go
mention.
for it.
Steve Menzies.
Yeah, I had Menzies in my honourable mentions. Good. I didn't realise he played so long at Bradford.
Yeah. I mean, he was about 43 when he came to Super League.
And he retired at 82.
But yeah, that was good. But yeah,
And
they were. I would squeeze them in, but I'm surprised that Ben Westwood hasn't got more of a mention with different
you know,
teams.
yeah, with the second rows, I put out my team on Twitter. I think the only thing I've changed is Barrett to have Price on that one. And someone replied, so, someone has not seen Dean Hadley play then from a Hull KR fan.
I
And I
think,
honestly, I think that is an incredible shout for the team,
yeah,
Dream Team
brilliant.
13.
I think Joint doesn't get the recognition because he was such a quiet man. He just led by example, and
And again,
he was captain, but you never heard him speak.
no, and you talk about honourable mentions that we didn't even speak about with the sixes was the likes of your Tommy Martins,
Mm, yeah,
even the likes of Sonny Nicol as a second row,
Sonny Nicol, that's a great shout.
Paul Newell of his centres. Like,
Gary Connolly has sent.
yeah, we don't talk about him though, do
No,
we?
no.
Great player, great
He's
player.
just got a
Just
mention. He's just got a mention, not an honourable mention. Dishonourable mention for Gary Connolly.
this. So
You know, like in the army where you get dishonourable discharge. It's a similar thing, isn't it?
I got a little stuck when we went
Ah,
to Toulouse. When we went to Toulouse away in 2022, we met these lads and we were having a few bevies and that. And their mate, like, not really into rugby, but he likes the away days and all that.
yeah.
And they were like, apparently he made a bet when he was drunk on the plane after a few couple of yards that he was going to get Gary Connolly Shag's dogs on his arse tattooed on
Oh
as
no.
the bet and the wager, and he lost the bet. I think he was like, oh, if it got like 300 likes on Twitter or something,
Oh dear
he
me.
would get it done. He was like, yeah, you won't get that, and he got something like 2,000 likes.
Yeah. Dangerous game, that, isn't it?
I
Yeah.
know he still refused, so we made him do a little forfeit instead. So I know
Okay.
our 13s are quite obviously the double Man of Steel winning back to back Paul Sculthorpe, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Greatest
think
13 that's ever been produced.
there's been names touted about. There's four names there. There's Sculthorpe, there's Farrell, there's O'Loughlin, and there's Sinfield. To me,
I think
Sinfield is.
I think there's a huge drop off between the three mentioned and Sinfield.
So do I.
Great player, but I think them three are in a class of their own.
Look at things like earlier on in the England setup. I remember one series they played him at hooker to try and squeeze him in, because he was never the first choice 13 behind the likes of what we've just said. I've got one more honourable mention at 13, if that's okay. Who's nobody's really mentioned, but I think he's worth a mention.
Can I have a clue? Is this a bit of a wild card?
Man of Steel.
Man of Steel 13. Oh, is it going to be what's his name for cast? The Aussie.
Yeah, and I don't know whether he still
I
is.
can't remember his
He moved
name. What's his name?
Adrian Vowles.
Vowels. Yeah, that's the one.
Now, I don't know whether he still is, but a few years ago he was in charge, or he was CEO or something of the Burley Bears up on the Gold
I
Coast.
think he's still got something to do with them.
Yeah, when I went over there, we had a tour around the Burley Bears, and he gave us the tour round, which was like pleased all the Cast fans on the tour, obviously. But yeah, I don't know whether he's still there or not. But yeah, worth a shout. Man of Steel 13. That's not in those four.
Absolutely worth a shout.
And I think what we're talking about there. I think Sinfield is fourth of those on the list, behind Sculthorpe, Farrell, and O'Loughlin.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Sinfield can't pull off passes like them three can. Them three ball handling, they were halfbacks playing 13 and prop later on in his Andy Farrell career.
Yeah. So, but that's what I went with in the end. So, nice little, and I think there's all sorts of different ones that we could do. There's different things, your personal favourites, we've had on our pod, we've had suggestions that we do things like one season wonders, teams that are outside the big four winners of Super League, all that type of stuff. So there's some interesting ones I think that we can do over the next few weeks. It'd be good.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's something that they can look out for on Only Rugby League. I know I'll be listening to them, but I think we've done a pod there, and we've kept you a little bit late. I think you're going to be a little bit late for your work shift, but helps when you're part owner, innit?
It does, yeah.
So it's been an absolute pleasure, Andy, and we'll catch you all next week. This has been the Super League Pom-Cast. Please follow us on all social media, wherever you get your podcasts, and also follow myself on Twitter. Now I am back on there, thanks to the ban from a certain owner of a rugby league club. Degsy. So this has been the Super League Podcast. I've been Johnny. He's been Andy. Peace.
Bye.